You know that feeling when someone does you a huge favor and later on you promise to pay them back? It feels like a solid deal, right? The right thing to do. But here's the thing. In the eyes of the law, is it actually a contract? Today, we're going to dig into a really fundamental piece of contract law that, trust me, might surprise you. Past consideration. Okay, so let's paint a picture. Your friend helps you move all day Saturday. It's a massive, massive help. The next week, you're feeling super grateful and you say, you know what? For helping me move, I'm going to give you $100. Now, the big question is that promise legally binding? Can you really make a deal based on something that's already in the rearview mirror? And the answer, legally speaking, is a flat, simple, and honestly pretty surprising no. It might feel a little unfair, maybe even wrong, but that no is a huge pillar of contract law. A promise you make for something that's already happened? Yeah, that's generally not a real contract. So, to really get why that promise to your friend isn't binding, we have to talk about the absolute core of what makes a contract tick. It's this idea called consideration, and it's basically the magic ingredient that turns a simple promise into a deal the law will actually enforce. So what is it? Well, at its heart, consideration is the this for that. It's what each person in the deal is giving up. It can be money, sure, but it can also be a service, an item, pretty much anything that has value. The key thing here is that it has to be part of a bargain. Both people have to agree to the exchange as part of the deal. But here's the kicker. It's not just about what is being exchanged. It's about when. The timing of this whole exchange is absolutely critical, and it really breaks down into 3 different timelines. First up, you've got executory consideration. This is your classic, a promise for a promise. Think about it like this. You promise to pay a contractor next month, and they promise to start renovating your kitchen next week. Nothing's happened yet, but that exchange of future promises, that creates a totally valid contract. It's all about what's going to happen. Then there's executed consideration. This is when an action happens right now, in the present, in exchange for a promise. The perfect example is buying a coffee. You hand over the cash, that's your act, right now, and in return they promise to make your latte. The deal is happening on the spot. And yep, this is also perfectly valid. And finally, we get to our problem child, past consideration. This is where the action was already done and dusted before any promise of payment was ever made. Your friend already helped you move. That favor is in the past. Your promise of $100 a week later isn't part of the original bargain. It's just a reaction to something that's totally over. So let's just lay it all out. Nice and simple. A promise based on the future? Executory? Check. That's valid. An action in the present? Executed? Check. Also valid. But an action from the past? That is where the law puts its foot down. Past consideration is just not considered valid, and it cannot be the foundation for a new contract. End of story. Okay, but that brings up the big question, right? Why? Why is the law so strict about this? I mean, it feels a little cold, a little unfair, but there's actually some really solid logic behind why the past has to stay in the past. This quote right here just nails it. The whole point of a contract in the eyes of the law is that it's a bargain. It's not a reward system. When your friend helped you move, they were giving you a gift, an act of kindness. They weren't expecting to get paid. Your promise to pay them later doesn't create a bargain. It just tries to slap a price tag on a gift that's already been given and opened. Let's just walk through exactly where the logic breaks down, step by step. So step 1, someone does something for you as a favor. Step 2, after it's all done, you make a promise to pay them. See the problem? Because the promise came after the act, there was no bargain for exchange. And if there's no bargain, the law just sees your promise as an offer of a gift, which you can't be forced to follow through on. All right, so after all of that, what's the one thing you really, really need to remember? Let's just boil this whole idea down so it sticks with you. Here's the deal. Just think of a contract as a two-way street that has to be built at the exact same time. Both sides have to be giving and getting something, either right now, in the present, or in the future. If one side of that street is already in the past, you can't just build a bridge to it later. That promise to pay for an old favor, legally, it's a one-way street. It's a gift, not a contract. So, with all that in your head, take a second and think about it. Are there any informal promises or deals in your own life that look a little different now? Yeah, understanding this one little rule can really change how you see a whole lot of past agreements. Thanks for tuning in.